Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast with myself, Max, and Al. We are sat here with James Finney from the Best a Man Can Get podcast.
Hello.
How's it going? You good?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Yes.
I want to say thank you for getting in touch with us. It happens now and again where we get a message and I like what you're doing. I'd love to come on your show. And that makes me feel happy. So thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, I'm happy to make you happy.
So let's talk a bit about your show. What is your show? Tell us all about it.
I should really practice this sort of pronunciation as to what I do. Right. My main mission is to help men of they're in a middle-age crisis. Now, there is the phenomena, allegedly, of the midlife crisis. So out of that, I just want to help people find a way of making a turn for the right or the good. Maybe they've lived a life where they're bored, they're trapped, they hate it, much like I was. So is there anyone else out there that can help or join along or help turn around and actually find the positive in life, as opposed to just dreading every day, getting up and thinking, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. It's a trap, isn't it? I mean, I'm not quite there yet. I mean, I don't know if
I hope you don't get there.
I'm 34 now. When is midlife? How do you judge how long you're going to live for? I mean,
well, that is
I could die tomorrow. Then I'll just bypass that.
Yeah.
You get to a stage, I imagine, in life where you've I haven't done anything. I've literally got up, gone to work, got up, gone to work, got up, gone to work. I've never been abroad. I've never been to a rock concert. I've never driven a fast car. Yeah. And I guess that's what midlife crisis is, right? That's what I think. That's what I think about anyway.
For me, it's been an awakening or an awareness of one's own mortality. That I need to get moving because soon I'm not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
And then you get stressed by the decision of, well, what do I do first?
You have to figure out where to put yourself in the world, right?
Yeah. And how do I do it? And then you think, oh, okay, I want to do that. Oh, it's going to take 2 years of learning. Do I want to commit to that sort of thing for 2 years? I might not like it. Yeah. And then it just goes, and you just start having, well, I did. I was starting to just get it over and done with. Just end it now and I'll start again. I'm happy to be just a toddler again.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sad reality of it, isn't it? When you get to a certain age, you feel like, most of my life's gone now. But do you know what? I've seen people have these moments where they completely rebirth themselves at a certain age. And, you live happy existence doing something that you enjoy for the remainder of your life. I mean, examples, celebrities, some of the old... Samuel L. Jackson wasn't famous till he was 42 or something, It's crazy. And
look at Morgan Freeman. He hasn't aged for 30 years. I look at him and I'm like, how old is that man? And he's still alive being a busy beekeeper. It's just incredible.
I believe that everybody comes to a point where they kind of know what they need to do. Most people, I should say, not everybody. And that's what happened with me. I mean, if I'd have realised that I had this kind of ability behind a microphone, I'm not going to say I'm the Don when it comes to being behind it, but I've got a talent, and I recognise that now. And before, I felt like I was never. I used to think about, what if I was on the radio? What would I talk about? Maybe what those awkward silences when I'm like, but I've never had a problem with it. And if I'd have found out when I was younger, I probably would have been doing something decent with my life now.
Exactly. I'm totally with you on that front because I've discovered this sort of the broadcast medium, as it were, and I absolutely love it. I'm like, why didn't I know about this? As a kid, I was fascinated slightly by radio and what can be done with it. But it always seemed a bit regimented and set. And, okay, there's a couple of guys on the radio, but there's 50, 60 million of us. Who's actually going to get to be on the radio? So it sort of became a pointless thing or not really a valid interest. But now doing this, I'm really enjoying meeting and talking to people. And the weird thing is when I get feedback from people going, I really liked that. Well, okay, you were just listening to two people talking. Yeah, but it was really good.
Yeah.
I like this job.
I mean, I started before I did the biscuit, I did Thorskin. Thor's
Did
kin.
what, sorry?
Thor's kin. I always have to explain. It was a cheeky show. It was R-rated, but it was a show very much designed to bring people together. The outcasts, the people that don't have a million friends to go out with on a Friday night, and and that's what that was for. It was to include people into our community, and so we can. And it was very successful. And in fact,
why didn't you invite me?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? When you create a podcast, when you create something, the first thing that enters your head when you make something like this is, how can I tell as many people as I can about what I do without looking like a jackass? Because, like, you're a podcaster. I imagine you're part of some podcast communities where you'll be like, I need help with a certain setup, and you don't get any help. You get links to other people's show, and it's just... I call that the podcast equivalent of herpes. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. To put it away. Oh, like
but it does have a burning itch, and you still have to have a little peek.
Yeah.
And then leave it alone.
Because everybody wants to get out there now. Everybody wants to tell. And do you know what? I feel like the lesson I had to learn was, it doesn't matter how big your audience is. It just matters that you've got someone that listens to what you do and enjoys what you do. Yeah. Like with Thor's kin, the community we put together they spanned across the planet, and I've got friends now in places all around the world that will turn up. They'll just turn up. If I'm doing something at live, such and such, I'll have Bruce. I'll have Ryan Williams. I'll have so many people. Keith McCleary, who's in Nova Scotia, Eric Fluger, who's in Florida, all these people around the world, my friend Rich Carter, who's an expat who lives in Australia. These people will just turn up because it's something that I put together, and they like the community. And
as a result, you've got somewhere to go and visit.
Run away to.
Yeah. No, I think that the network of friends is a great thing to build up. The main thing I want to get from my podcast, first of all, it was a selfish thing, because I needed to find some inspiration in self. It's all very well knowing stuff and reading books and what have you and watching other people, but there's the actual small task of doing something. You can know everything, but if you don't do anything, it's worthless. So I needed some way of turning it around just to inspire me and get me going, to motivate me. So it was a selfish thing, really. But through meeting these people, it's already lifted me up without me actually making a concerted effort or to focus on, I'm going to do this week because blah said I should do so. It's just filtered into me. Yeah. I suppose osmosis is the way. And as a result, I'm a lot more upturned and happier as a result of having done what I've done. Yeah. And then it turns out, after interviews, I'm having interviewees telling me, thank you for those questions, because you've actually made me think about what I'm doing, and I actually feel like I'm doing something of worth. Great. And then I get people contacting me going, that person was really good. I really like their point of view. I'm like, this is brilliant. So I'm going to carry on, because I've found it to be a life-affirming thing. Unfortunately, I've chose a time when every man and his dog is doing a podcast. But will they remain carrying on doing their podcast?
Yeah, this is what I've seen, and the creation of Anchor, things like this. It does add saturation to the industry. Yeah. This is quotations, but I think that's where you stand out. This is the competition is no problem to me. I feel like there's billions of people on the planet, and 500,000 to 1 million podcasts that are active. About 500,000, I think, active at the moment, but like there's millions.
3 million on Apple, allegedly.
Yeah. And there's more than enough people to listen to those things. I don't care if I've got 100 people listening to my podcast, or 10,000 or 10 million. I love doing what I'm doing, and it's meeting people like Max, for example. Like,
I've only just met the guy, and I love him already.
Meeting people like Max, who I met through the podcast, and now we're friends, and we do this together. People like Tom Bruno in Vermont, and people that tune in with you. I mean, how do you find your guests and invite them on the show? What's the process there? It's
been a combination mainly of inviting friends. I've started embarking on a mission of introducing local people. I know it's a weird phenomenon. It's like, why would you want to listen to an interview with a local person? What have they got to say about the world? Well, funnily enough, they probably know just as much as a celebrity. In fact, they've probably got a greater reality of the world, because celebrities live in a very detached reality of the world. So, and also a fake reality, because they have to put on a persona. Whereas real people, quotation marks, actually have a reality on what life is. So if they're succeeding, they're the people I should be speaking to.
Absolutely. They've jumped through the hurdles in life. They've got to where they are to be on a podcast, to be in that position. So why not get them on and inspire others to do the same, right? I feel like there's such a generation of like, I feel like it's almost my generation, the millennials, who just have no father figure in life, no direction, and then just get depressed and anxious and no direction.
100%. And do you find that what you would class as a father figure have just been buried and lost amidst this technological noise?
Yes.
That they're in a corner of a pub sitting on their own, when really they're the person you should be engaging with, because they've got so much data that is of use to you and your community.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't be isolated and left out on their own.
I think it teaches you not to judge a book by its cover as well, because I mean, I've met some of the most chaotic minds, the absolute just balls of just anxiety, drama and stress, but behind all that there's a bit of genius. You know, some of the most, I know you swore then, some of the most out there people are poets, artists, musicians, you know. So
and that side of their characters just crying to get out, but they feel stifled in some way in society, and they just need to understand that it's okay to be who you want to be, right?
Exactly. And I feel like what you're doing, it gives people a license to do that. You know, I always encourage people to let people give them a range to be able to get that persona out. You know?
Yeah. I want to let people be as much as they can. It's like you can have an interview platform or a way of doing it, but I don't wish to have any agenda. Yeah. So the only thing I've set out is I don't want to talk about politics, mainly because it seems to be so destructive and it's an unwinnable argument in all corners. So, and I also think that's one of the key things for middle-aged or men having issues, is because they get into the whole political thing. So I want to kick that into touch, but everything else is pretty much on the table for me, really.
I've met someone. I've met someone.
That's nice.
I made a friend called Matt Connaughton. He's a radio presenter in Manchester, in New Hampshire, in America, and he runs Matt Connaughton Unleashed. It's part of a radio station, and it's a very politically charged show. And it's not usually my thing. It's not really my go-to because, like you said, politics can be a very toxic thing. But he finds a way to talk about politics that's friendly, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, I've been on his show and I've talked about it. And I mean, they've had senators go on that represent Trump. They've had people come on that represent Biden. They've had independents on. Obviously, it's in America. And he wanted to know what us Brits thought about the US from the outside. And I was like, well, we've done Brexit. We know how to be embarrassed. Don't worry about that. Like, there's no judgment here. But yeah, you need to pull your socks up a bit. You know, that was nice actually, just talking about politics, because I don't do that on the show very often.
Right.
You know?
I find it a scary thing because it is a litmus thing, and it's you are lighting a fuse. Because are you actually going to get the true response of that person, or are you going to get the socially ingrained response? Absolutely. Are you going to get the thing that the family have told them to do? Is it what their workmates have told them that they should do? Are you really getting the real person?
Yeah.
And I think the whole thing with politics is because it's such a mush to satisfy and trying to appease everyone, it actually is unworkable. And it buries the true person. So that's why I personally try and avoid it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So it's verbal tennis at the end of the day.
It is. It's all theories of what if. Opinions. And if they did this, if. It's like, well, that's not reality because it hasn't happened. Yeah. So let's get down to the real things.
Hypothetical existentialism, right?
Yes.
Wow, Max. Wow. I'm glad I had coffee this morning. So what do you like to talk about on your show then? What's the kind of topic,
The guest.
Yeah?
That's it. My main purpose is the guest and what value do I and the listener get from the guest. And that's it. Now, I've had guests talk about alcohol, the greatnesses of alcohol, the ways in which to make it, use it, cocktails, what foods to have it with. Or there's one guy who has a machine that issues, I don't know what the technical word is. It makes electromagnetic waves and you lie in it and it heals you over a course of hours, etc.
Wow.
And it's used by people and it's scientifically proven and it's growing, etc. So I have these kind of people. I have people who are into tantra, spiritual stuff and all these various things, and I just want to try and find little nuggets that are useful for people to take on. I've had people who are conspiracy theorists, you could say, but even taking from them, what things can we do to change our lives for the positive? It's like, well, change your toothpaste, change your water, or use a water filter. just try and get something useful out of the actual discussion, and also hopefully a bit of fun.
Yes.
Because I think that's a good thing to have, a bit of fun.
That's the beauty of the medium, isn't it? You can say what you want pretty much, right? And
the pirate radios.
As many people in such wonderful ways.
Yeah. But the other thing is, isn't it strange that we're doing this through this medium when really we could just do this in a pub or a cafe?
Sure.
But we don't.
But this is what this is for. This is for the people that can't get out to the pubs and the cafes and things.
Yeah.
Like I was speaking to someone about we wanted to get around the nursing homes and sort of put posters up and promote the show around nursing homes.
I want to interview people in nursing homes, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic. Shane had this idea for Memoirs of a Salopian. So talk about, somebody that's in their 70s or 80s, about what school they went to, what pubs they used to drink in, where they used to work, things like that, because Shrewsbury changed so much over the decades that there might be someone out there that goes, I remember that place. Yeah. I remember that teacher. That sort of thing. I
don't want to remember that teacher. Thank you.
No, happens to me on a weekly basis.
And I think it's helpful to people that can't get out and about. I always describe the Shrewsbury Biscuit as an audio magazine. If you can't get to the flower show, we'll be there. I'll tell you what's going on.
I've done security there. It has been nice.
It's good fun. Have you had any situations where you've done it? Because do you do it just live on Facebook, or do you record?
I record them.
Yeah.
I've done a live intro. I've been offered other work to do live stuff. I might take that up. But it's recorded. It's unedited. So just start, finish, that's it. If you mess up, I mess up, or I'm going too much, or I'm going other things like, I've noticed that's one of my habits lately. So it's just got to roll with it, and I'll gradually learn by experience, because I think a lot of people are perfectionists. Like, let's edit that, let's cut that, and before you know it, you've wasted a day of your life editing a 1 hour.
That's definitely me.
But that stops you pulling the trigger and getting on with life.
I feel like with my audio, I like my audio sounding crisp. Now, I did yesterday. I got to speak to Birgitta Zoutman for the second time. The first time we spoke was via Skype or Zoom. I think it was Skype at the time. And there's just this crackle, as if someone's just crackling crisps next to me or something.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. And I hated it. I hated the audio quality. That's not what I'm about. I'm about conversation that you can just dive into and listen to. And that's what I don't like. I like my audio, anything that I release, to sound great.
Yes. That's good, but I'm talking about editing.
When it comes to editing, I used to, any long pauses, lots of ums and ahs and bad mannerisms. I've been doing this long enough now. I've been doing this long enough now to sort of cancel them out of my system. I mean, everybody ums and ahs. I watch TV and I'm like, there's an there's an ah.
Match of the day is perfect.
Yeah. It's natural. It's normal to have those pauses in between.
I feel like there's an evolution to that as well.
Yeah.
But if you were doing that, aren't you creating a fake reality?
Well, that's what I thought at first. I remember I used to work for this radio station, and I used to do this 8-minute bit about entertainment news. Al's Entertainment Buzz, and I had
Sounds cool.
It was back. Do you know what? Trying to make 8 minutes of audio work is hard.
Yes.
It's harder than doing an hour-long show. You've got to cram it all in. So any long pauses I would take out. So it'd be like, "Hi, welcome to Entertainment Buzz, and today we're going to be talking about the new Batman movie." And it was just
terms and conditions apply.
I hate it, but I will take out things that make my team possibly look a bit naive, or anything that may feel I feel will make the guest look. I look after the people on my team. Like, for example, yesterday, I don't know why I thought Birgitta's photos made it to the newspapers, and I was like, "Yeah, man, you were promoting Shrewsbury, and it went nationwide across the." She was like, "I wasn't in the paper."
Oh no.
Yeah, but when this goes out, it will happen.
And I was like, "Oh, what am I confused?"
But I love that she said so.
Yeah. So things that I'll take out, silly little things like that. But it's more about, I like my stuff sounding sexy audio.
See, I love sound quality, and there is actually a psychology to it, because I've got lectures and recordings from the 50s, and they spent a lot of effort getting the audio right, and the reason is because they want the speaker to be in the same space as the listener. Yeah. And there is a psychological thing. Yeah. If you have poor quality, on the subject of reality, it doesn't appear real, and the listener disconnects. However, if you have good quality audio and the person appears with you or feels like they're with you, it actually communicates more.
Yeah.
So there's a total grounding and sense in what you're saying.
There are certain things that I really like. I like ambience. I love, if I'm in a coffee shop and I'm speaking to Max at a coffee shop, I want the clinking of the cups and the chattering, and I want that. If we're speaking to someone on the phone, I would ideally like them to sound like they're actually on the phone, because then the listener's like, I'm on the phone to these people. You know, it sounds daft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a deliberate thing radios do now? Is they just cut out all the just like that 3 kilohertz little bandwidth just to make it sound like they are on the phone?
Yeah.
It could be a bit of it.
Your phone's too good. Can you rubbish it up a bit, please?
So what have you learned? So, I mean, how long's your show been going, first of all?
I started first or second week of July.
Oh, so it's fairly new then.
Fairly new. I'm 19 or 18 shows in. I was meant to be a show last night, but the guest didn't turn up. I say turn up. I was up at midnight, and they were meant to be, well, they are in America, and they're like, oh, an hour later, like, sorry, I'm still on. So I was like, okay, next week, fine. I'll go to bed now. Thank you. No, so I'm new to it, but the estimated audience figures are growing, which is good, because I'm not doing any marketing, really. Although I am appearing on other people's shows, we talk about stuff, but it's friends of friends sharing. Weirdly enough, Facebook doesn't, people aren't doing it on Facebook, sharing, but they're talking. So that's, I can't analyse that stat, but I can see the audience is growing, which is good, but I need to get it to a point where maybe I can just pay for a microphone. That'd be good.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, Team Biscuit will tell you that I'm constantly on the ball when it comes to marketing.
I've seen that.
Looking for
Definitely. Yeah, 100% agree, you are.
Constantly just on the ball, thinking about how ways we can grow the show. And we do have a very open discussion about things. You know, I run the show very transparently for a reason. The reason being is I don't claim to be some radio podcasting genius. This is my journey as much as everybody else's. I don't. We want to make the Biscuit into a CIC, a community interest company, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know what to do. So we're asking for outside help, you know, because that way we can get funding, because we feel like we do a good thing for the town. You know?
But if you did know how to do that, then you wouldn't be podcasting, because you'd be doing the legal stuff.
Exactly,
and that would defeat the purpose of what you're doing.
When it comes to marketing, I like to do things very organically, because there's lots of these Twitter pages, tweet Love Friday, or tweet share Friday, share. I don't know. And I like that, but I like things to grow organically. People follow the Biscuit on Instagram or Facebook because they like what we do.
Yes,
simple.
Absolutely. Keep it good, because a learned businessman from Germany told me it takes 5 years for a company to grow organically, and I asked him, 5 years to what? He didn't have an answer, but apparently it takes 5 years to grow. I was like, what is the point to which you're growing? Because trees just carry on going and going and going. They don't just go, that's enough. That's what humans do, by the way. I've noticed that. We stop our own expansion. We go,
comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dangerous thing. We're the only organism on the planet that seems to stop expanding.
It absolutely is. Well, I feel like that completely ties in with the first topic we touched on, which was the midlife crises, right? You either hit it at 25, 35, 40.
Yeah. And then I noticed decay.
We stop growing and start decaying, absolutely, until we realise ourselves, and oh my goodness, I've stopped growing, I need to start getting back out there, exercise and look after myself.
This is the moment of decline.
That's the hardest thing, though, because, as I say, knowing stuff is very easy to do. You can research until your bottom falls out. But getting active is the toughest challenge.
Motivating yourself to do something like this. I mean, I talk to Max all the time, because he's super healthy, does all this running, and I'm the opposite, really. And I'm always like, I need to be. He's like, anybody can do it. I was like, that's easy to me to say.
I started off, honestly, I was in a very different way when I started running, and I just did 1 mile, and I was completely out of breath. So like, never doing this again. The next day I did it again and got a little bit further. You know?
I always imagine if I go running on the streets, I have somebody with a trombone, boom, 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 boom. Self-esteem issues right there, shining through on the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
I did running recently, and I was getting good at it and enjoying it. But then my running partner had to stop, so I've stopped.
No excuses.
well, yeah, there is. Accountability is my excuse. I need someone to actually give me a kick or someone to hold me accountable.
Okay, sure.
And I found that as the only, like, doing the podcasting is people have held me accountable to do
That's good. David Goggins is a guy that holds me accountable.
He's my currnt audiobook at the moment.
Fantastic.
Incredible, man.
Fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah. I just nod and I know that guy.
He's a beacon of hope for all men.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, everybody. Let's say everyone.
If you ever get the chance to listen to his audiobook, you can't hurt. Is it Can't Hurt Me?
Can't Hurt Me, yeah.
Yeah, he had the most horrific upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in his life seems to be horrific, and yet he's just a machine that goes.
He weighed like 400 pounds, really unhappy, milkshakes, on the hour, and from that became a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. And 3 times he went through the week of... What did they call
Hell
that?
Week.
Hell Week.
He
3 times.
Eventually finished it with a broken leg.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I'll give it a go.
Dude, you should.
Realise how...
He's on the JRE as well. It's really worth listening.
Yeah. Imagine someone like him would be on Joe Rogan. Right. Okay. James, I've set up a gauntlet for you. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So the gauntlet is if for anybody that's not really... I've done it twice on the biscuit. It's something I do on USUC quite a lot. We just recently run D through it. I expect that people that do what we do to have some sort of talent when it comes to being behind a microphone, and you will have learned in the 18 weeks or so that you've been doing this, 18 episodes, should I say, ways of using your initiative when it comes to being behind a microphone. Keeping things going. Okay. There are 3 rounds. There is the inanimate object round, but I will give you an inanimate object to talk about wholly just for a minute. Just bam, talk.
Beautiful.
You can describe it in any way you like.
This is my former life. I've spent all my life talking to myself, talking to objects, and asking why they are there.
I will then give you the speed round. There are 10 questions. You have an allotted amount of time to answer these questions, but you don't know how long.
Okay.
So you get for those questions as quick as possible.
Yes.
And then I will give you 10 objects that you need to describe to Max without actually telling them what they are, okay? So you have to guess what you're talking about.
Are they in this room?
We have so got this.
I've got my laptop here, which I closed.
Are the objects in this physical universe or other universes?
I believe they probably do exist in other universes as well.
Okay.
I mean,
in the multiverse.
In the multiverse. I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. I believe in it.
Shooting stars is one of my sort of stable diets.
Okay, so why is that?
I always wanted to host a quiz show, so if anyone needs a quiz host I'd love to do that.
I'll keep an ear out for you, James.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to need to get a stopwatch up on my phone because my watch is just...
You're not going to do the 120 elephants or something? I can just using initiative.
Can you not see the 120 elephants in this room?
I can feel them.
Okay, so you're going to have a minute to talk about this object. I'll spin my laptop around, and as soon as you start talking, I will then start the time. So here is your object.
Right.
Okay.
And away I go. It's a beauteous, cylindrical, white-topped device with a smooth, mapley edge to it, with metal objects of resonance and symbology and sharp to the touch, I find. As a kid, when I touched these things, I used to get my fingers snagged in it, and it used to hurt quite a lot. But it's also handy for hitting people in a comedy style, either on the edge to inflict pain, or in the centre for a perfect sort of noise. Also quite an amusing thing to walk with. If you're walking around town, if you just have it hanging by your leg, it will intimidate, annoy and wind people up. It's a great device, a great toy. It doesn't require batteries, I don't believe. It's not mains powered. And it can also be used as a hat in the rain depending on its size. If it's an 18-inch one, that could be adequate for your head. I've never seen a 36-inch one, but that would be great if such a thing did exist. Imagine the packaging on that. And it would probably roll down the road as well when the people delivered it as well. It could be used as a spare wheel on a cartoon car, perhaps. Oh, hello.
Hey, stop. And that was a trampoline. I said
It could be a trampoline.
It could be a trampoline if it was one big a tambourine. Well done. That was fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much.
That was very...
I'll get myself a job in the tambourine marketing department at Hasbro.
Great imagery.
Okay, I'll bring them ones up in a second because I don't want Max to see. Okay.
I will close my eyes.
And this one I need a stopwatch for because otherwise you'll know when the time's over. Okay, so 10 questions. There's one of these I always have to dumbed down because it's usually made for a...
He's inferring that I need dumbing.
Not dumbed down, more...
Not personal.
More add to a more family-friendly audience. So, okay, your time starts as soon as I end the the first question.
Very precise, okay.
Okay, your first memory of a pet.
Merlin the cat.
Your favourite film category.
Oh, God, whose stomach was that? I just had rumbling. Favourite film category. Oh, God, True Stories.
True Stories. Your favourite Muppet.
Animal.
Your best dish to cook.
Cheese on toast with tomatoes.
Yeah. One unpopular opinion.
Now I have to censor myself. Okay. I think the things we are told to do by enforcing power of government are a bit nonsense.
Okay, cool. Your favourite booze?
Is it cinnamon flavoured whiskey? No. The Jack Daniel's whiskey. Why can't I remember it? Oh no, Bonfire whiskey, the one that's only out in November at the Wheat Chief.
Nice.
Other pubs are available.
PlayStation 4, Xbox or Switch? Or neither?
PlayStation 3 is all I've got, sorry.
Your favourite podcast that isn't yours?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And
nice.
And yours, Biscuit.
Oh, cool. Yeah, nice. One guilty pleasure.
Jesus, so many. I'm guilty of all my pleasures, to be fair. Sugar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your favourite TV or movie villain?
Oh, the Joker. As in, which one though? They're of an equal parity. As in, yeah, the last two Jokers I'm finding of so many great attributes, but both of them are profoundly brilliant.
The Joker's very popular. Well done. You had a minute to do that, and you did it in a minute and 35. So well done. That was good.
Is that a good index or not?
That's perfect.
Okay. According to.
Okay, I have set up sort of 10 items for you to discuss.
Oh, right.
I need to take my headphones off of it.
Right. 10 items. My God, are these illegal? I don't think we should be discussing any of these on a phone.
My laptop has got 10 images. You can go across the board in any direction you like. You have 2 minutes to describe to Max what these pictures are without actually saying what they are.
Okay.
You clear the rules, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, on your marks, get set, and go.
A man who communicates by just eyes and hand gestures alone is a popular and multi-millionaire actor. Has a McLaren F1.
Donald Trump.
Now, is that my description? Okay, the next guy is an ambassador for Martini and Coffee and did a great film, Syriana, and he does some films of particular subject matter that's questionable as to whether we should dig into it. Apparently women go weak at the knees for him. Not all women, because that's a wild generality. Some women might absolutely hate him. They might dislike the smell. I'll move on, because I knew I'm getting that one.
No, well, I could have a guess at Werner Herzog, but I wouldn't even say the women are after him anymore.
You can come back to it.
The next one's a big cavity in the ground of America. Very long.
Okay, sure. The Grand Canyon, right?
Yes, that's it.
Boom.
The next one is a guy that's just moved to Texas from California, and he likes wearing headphones.
Joe Rogan.
That's right, yes. Oh, the next one is a number one Christmas single from, I can't remember which year, but it was in the 90s, and he knocked Take That off number one, I think.
Robbie Williams?
Close, but the first word is very similar.
Right.
They have, he has earned the nickname from this character.
Okay, no, I give up.
He's pink, yellow.
Mr. Blobby!
Yeah!
Sure, okay, that makes sense now. I like the hint.
Right, the next one is a fish that expands when shocked.
The pufferfish,
That's
fugu.
Right. Yeah. Flipping heck, yeah, he knows okay, the next one is a cat that's found in Egypt, but it's very large and inanimate. Has a human head.
Sphinx.
Yeah. The next one is a symbol of a singing mermaid luring people onto the rocks.
Siren.
Yes. From what popular company or brand?
Warner Brothers in Ariel Disney.
No.
Disney, yeah. Okay.
The next one is a guy from a cartoon family, and he is the little one that wears a I was going to say a tuxedo. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I'll get my laptop back.
Yeah. Well, we definitely...
Well, the last one I go with SpongeBob, I think.
Oh, well, okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
The first one you were trying to describe was Mr. Bean.
Of course. Pretty far off with Donald Trump.
If you just said From Dusk Till Dawn, ER, or Bat Nipples, you probably could have got George Clooney.
Hell of a
I put nipples on the Batman. I remember that one. Baz Luhrmann. Who was it that did that?
The Mermaid was Starbucks. Starbucks coffee.
Sure.
The baby from Family Guy's Stewie, and then the drink that made all kids turn orange was going to be Sunny D.
Yeah, the one that's got very little orange but can actually drive your children mental.
95% sugar.
Yeah, it's an amazing drink. We call it orange because it's orange coloured, not because it's got orange. Come on, people.
What are the plans for your show? Where are you going to take this? What's your goal?
To have a revolution of middle-aged men suddenly become alive and active, and to throw out their TV sets.
That's such an incredible thing to hear, James. My goodness me. Yes.
That could be actually your question about what might cause offence. In this weird day and age, that I think that the modern man is a neglected species and is sort of beaten upon and hated in some way. So to bring them up and go, actually, you guys aren't wrong for being born male, and you aren't wrong for being 40-odd. You're actually alive. Let's go do something. You don't have to work the X amount of hours a week, go home, have the takeout, sit there and be a vegetable and hate the world.
I feel like the expectations have changed so much upon men in the last few decades that we haven't kind of shifted our perceptions around that, and it's still kind of balancing itself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to help that, and I'd like to be more happier, and also I'd like to be solvent. That'd be great. If I could pay my bills on time every month, that would be just like, yes, I've made it.
I think it's really good. I do have to implore you and congratulate you for trying to include people.
Yeah.
You know, because we're living in a world that's kind of divided at the moment, whether it be politics, Marvel or DC, or Star Wars or Star Trek, or these things. Everybody seems it's a lot of tribalism at the moment. So when when you're creating something and you're like, this is a nice, kind, fun community to be a part of.
Yeah,
come and join us. I think that's fantastic.
Now, when I say middle-aged male, you can actually be of any gender or any age. And weirdly enough, my demographics, because I was like thinking, it's going to be UK male. Well, 50-something% of my audience is actually from the United States.
Wow.
So it's like, well, that's weird. How did that happen? Maybe they can't read. Oh, no, that's a wild generality. But yeah, that's well, I actually want to expand out to have all walks of life. But you've got to start off with some sort of small micro audience so you can build upon it. But in all honesty, I want to include anyone and everyone. I just want to find a way of making people... I don't want to force people to be happy. You've got to make the choice yourself where you want to go in life.
I feel like micro goals is a huge step to that, making people realise that, hang on a minute, if I implement this, if I make my bed when I wake up in the morning as a micro routine, and then from there I can then tidy my room, and then I can do this and that. Yeah. And before you know it, life starts falling into place, right? It definitely happened for me.
100%. That's how I see it in regards to the politics thing. People are like obsessed with the world.
Yeah.
What's way beyond, they don't even know exists. They've never been
house.
Yeah.
Your inner world.
Get your bed sorted out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get a wash. Get a shave. Get your act together. Well, don't have to have a shave, but if you're going to grow a beard, keep it in order.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, those basic things. And then have a conversation with your children. Find out what they actually want to do in life, not what you want to put upon them. And then talk to your partner. That's mad, isn't it? Just talk to your partner.
Not argue.
No, that's right, yeah. Agree upon some goals and then communicate with your family and expand. And then, hey, maybe find out the neighbour's name 2 doors down.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, James.
What's their name? Maybe have a conversation. Instead of obsessing with social media and what's going on in a world that you don't even know or care about, really, or shouldn't do.
Well, do you know what I felt? I felt like lockdown made social media real. Right, so on the back of it, people are now taking it hugely serious because it was our main social go-to for so long.
But it shouldn't have been. We should have just gone next door.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And I believe in tackling the mundane. It sounds funny, but it's actually really important. I remember my friend James, who used to be my co-host for Thorskin, a good friend of mine. He was like, I was like, let's have a few drinks. Let's have come around mine. We'll order some food. Blah blah blah. So I'll bring some board games, and I was like. Okay, bring some board games. What do you do? Play, and he brought down Ankh Morpork, which is a Discworld game.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's do this, play a board game. One of the best nights I ever had.
Yeah.
And this is me tackling the mundane. When I think of board games, it's a boring thing. I was just like, but Ankh-Morpork was this game designed that everybody has to screw everyone over to win, and it was brilliant. You could be as brutal, as savage as you want. You could be, and I had the best time.
So until your friends are completely destitute, that's how you win.
Yeah. You gotta have like a good poker face to win that game. If anybody's played Ankh-Morpork, you'll know it's a brilliant game. And in fact, I want to see if we can take some microphones to Nerdy and play that game, because I want to get like a live playthrough from that game, because it's fun. It's fun.
Really cool.
I'll totally get that.
There's the Game of Thrones game, board game, and apparently the way it describes itself is if nobody's fallen out by the time you finish that game, you haven't played it right.
Legal advisories at the bottom.
Try something new, basically. Learn something new. I was speaking to you before we recorded, and I was like, I never thought I would be sitting talking to Manola about eyelash extensions like we were a few weeks ago. That girl's fantastic. She's got a brilliant mind, and she's going to do really well. So I'm glad we do things like that.
Yeah. I do you remember when you were a kid playing board games or games with your grandparents? Or I'm assuming you did. I don't know whether that's...
Well, your brothers.
Cribbage, I think it was mostly for me.
Wow.
Monopoly. What was Monopoly?
But you were engaged with them and you were communicating. And it's
learning.
Yeah, and it's the only time I get true engagement. Well, other than being at zoos with my daughter, the only times I've truly engaged with my daughter are through the medium of games. Mm-hmm. Even though she might have a breakdown over losing, because I am a competitive dad, I'm not going to give, just because they're young, they have the right to win. No. We play these games. She plays wrestling games and stuff on the PlayStation. We're engaged. Even though it's through a virtual medium, at least we're making some engagement. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd lose her to YouTube. It's like, Daddy or YouTube? Oh, YouTube.
It's vitally important, isn't it? Play is like a huge part of the human experience, Absolutely. Right? Especially at that age.
Yeah.
And that's what they say.
It's overlooked. Any age, completely.
And that's what they say about Nerdy Cafe. It's on Mardle, by the way. If you've never checked out Nerdy, it's brilliant. And they say that when you get to a certain age, you lose that license to play, which is really important, like you said, Max. And it's
Do you lose it, or does someone take it away?
I think society definitely takes it away, because it's like that line from Oasis. Was it you chained to the mirror and the razor blade?
Sure.
That's an important thing. And yesterday I shared a picture of these jigsaw puzzles. Like, me and my son, I came in, I picked him up from school, and I was like, let's do these jigsaw puzzles. I hate jigsaw puzzles. Challenging the mundane. We had so much fun. He'd find the piece he was missing, and he'd be like, yes, and I'd high five him, like, well done, man. And we sat there and we did 4 jigsaw puzzles. It was amazing. Just silly little things like that, and we had a great time doing it. Just last week, it was before I went to London, so 2 weeks ago. Do you remember that game you used to play in school, Consequence, where you'd write down the name of someone, what they were doing, who they met, and what they did, and you'd fold it over and you'd pass the paper around? We did that as a family, me and my wife and my little boy, because my little boy's just learning how to write and stuff, and he was giggling so much at some of them. He'd be like, fart, he'd write fart, or bum, or something. It was so funny. We had a great time. So
Have you done Mistmates? That's a great thing to do with paper. And a pen. I think you need a pen.
What's that one?
Basically, you have a piece of paper. It's folded over in 4, so if there's 4 of you, and you draw a body section.
Okay.
But you just draw little marker lines and you fold over, so they don't know what is drawn underneath, and they just follow on. They'll draw the legs, and someone draws the head, and then at the end you reveal this character that you've created, and there's some amazing things. If you're under the influence of any other form of chemical, it probably gets even more profoundly entertaining. But in the presence of children, it is a great thing to do as well.
Oh, fantastic. I'll try that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'll send you a picture of a few. I've kept a lot of mine, Mistmates. You could never create those things as a single mind. It's impossible.
There's a few pictures of me that might look like one of those. Tell people where they can find your show, and just have a couple of a minute or so just to sell it to people.
Okay. Well, you can find my content or my announcements of such at Facebook's Father Finney's Congregation. You can join and subscribe and do all that sort of stuff.
Why Father Finney?
Well, I was a big fan of Father Jack Hackett, Yeah. And
one of my inspirational figures throughout my teenage years.
Yeah, exactly. And there was because when you look at that script for that series, there's over, I'm sure there was over 50 priests they created, and every priest has a theme. That's the whole idea. All these priests have particular themes and addictions and weird things that you would not associate with the church. And that's what I like, because I'm very spiritual in my philosophies, but I'm not mainstream religion. And I wanted to it sort of brings a slight calm or I don't know whether people sort of automatically respect you because they think you're a priest or something. But just that demeanour of being Father Finney it brings a calm to the group.
It's a safe space, right?
Yeah. And the fact that on my website now that once I will pay the bill, Dan, he will then start it up. There's got like a vestry where you can go and buy things. There's the confessional box. So there's all these various things. There's a thing where I can go on my lectern and do my speeches to the congregation and my little flock, as it were. So there's a whole theme of it to go with that.
Nice.
So yeah, and I used to sell synthesizers. So my Father Finney on eBay became Absinthe Abbey. So it was like an abbey where you could buy synthesizers. But now it's becoming Aperture Abbey because I sell cameras. So yeah, it's a whole sort of freaky thing, and I get to dress up and do illicit things. No, I don't. I'm just making that better. So yeah, that's where you can find me on Facebook. FatherFinney.com is to be live, as I say, once I've paid the invoice. What else is occurring? YouTube and BitChute, they're going live at the weekend. I have a software phobia. I'm analog. I love touching hardware. No, not touching in that, using it.
Tactile.
Yes. Software I utterly hate. So I'm quite avoiding at the moment the confront of dealing with software.
I could probably help you with that.
Yeah,
I can. Everything that I've learned, I was very much the same. I don't really like learning new things when it comes to computers and things like that. But I've learned everything by myself. Everything I've done, and
I can learn it, but it's controlling the rage. At that point when I don't understand it, I want to destroy it and smash it to pieces. And that's the joy of analog, because you can smash it to pieces.
Absolutely, you can.
With software, it's like, where can I throw my anger? It's just like, oh. And I've also found with mobile phone, like you spend £500 on a phone, where's the manual? I'd expect a little manual with that, please.
I see YouTube as the manual now for everything.
Yes.
What if you don't know?
Yes.
But that's the assumption that you know.
Sure.
How can you make that leap? We've left behind a whole generation because they want a manual. Anyway, we're meant to be talking about me. I rant a bit, yeah.
Do you have a manual for you, James?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Just a reset button and delete. So I'll be on those platforms when I've confronted it, and LinkedIn. But the other stuff I don't want to get into. I am constantly told, you need to market on Instagram, you need to tweet, you need to... No, I don't want to. There's a fundamental here. I don't want to. I don't like those companies anyway. I don't want to give them money.
I feel like it's a big part of your identity, though, equally, right?
Yeah. Have you seen the logos that I use? I draw a logo for each episode with my own hand within 2 minutes with a biro. That's it. No marketing. I don't want that because it's not me. Sure. I just want the conversation to be a thing, which is all very hippie to say, because if no one finds me,
you were
what was the
talking
point?
Previously about making it as organic as possible, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Big respect to you for that.
Well, thank you very much. If I fail, then I question your respect.
Yeah, indeed.
That's where you can find me on Google podcast thingy. Although there's a delay on Google, it's about 2 or 3 days. I don't know why. But I'm on Apple, the usual suspects, Anchor, Spotify. I'm all on all those platforms. You just subscribe, and then it'll just bing when I upload and do one. I'm doing about 2 shows a week. I want to get it to a point where I can do 4 or 5 shows a week. I have had one of my test audience complain about the fact that I was producing too much. I just pointed out, you don't have to listen to them all. just pick the one that might appear relevant to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be covering a lot of various things here. So if you want to listen to all of it, great, but I don't want you to give up your life, to be fair.
You have to be careful. That's a hole that I've found myself in many times. I did 2 live. When was it? Was it Wednesday? I did 2 live. 2 live podcasts in a row. And then I got up and then come to the studio, recorded 2 yesterday, recording 2 today, then we're going to the castle, and then tonight I'm doing the weekly Bizarre Live. It's definitely because I got a problem with biting off more than I can chew. And
That's not a problem.
Then come the end of the week, I'm like, everything I do, I can sit there and do 5 interviews, no problem, all day. But then I've got to edit them and get them out. You know,
you're left with all the bone marrow and this huge bone to digest.
Yeah, exactly. James,
can you spot the chef in the room there?
You've been a fantastic guest. Thank you so much. I'd love to come on your show. I'm inviting myself.
Well, you are cordially. I tell you what. Let's just keep that running. We'll just swap it around. We'll copy the tape. Sorry, I went 80s there. I said tape. We're not using tapes.
Oh, wow, yeah. Somebody, I like to poke fun, not poke fun, add a bit of humour to people that are really serious about the podcast and things. Somebody was like, how do you record your podcast? I was like, well, I stand on top of a mountain. My co-host listens to what I'm bellowing down the mountain. They write it down. They go and they record it on vinyl, which then gets transferred onto tape, which then gets transferred onto CD, ripped off the CD, burnt onto the laptop, and is then edited. And some people are like, what?
Is that available on 8-track?
Yeah, maybe. That's the.
My dad's still got his.
Hey, I've got my Tascam 688. You can record 8 tracks onto a cassette. It's super cool.
Yeah, and he's also got an adapter that you can put a regular cassette into it, so you can play it on your 8-track.
That's really cool.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. You've been fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, well, thank you for having me. It's a great thing that you're doing for Shrewsbury. Shropshire, I don't know how far you can push the boundaries on that, but to be honest, for this town, it's a great town. We need more people like you.
Oh, bless you.
I think it's a worthwhile, tangible, it's a thing that people can have and embrace, and I wish more people would get on board with it, as opposed to Linda and Dave on Facebook talking about something around the world that's irrelevant. Just get in here and do it, chip in with the community. I think it's a very vital thing, and it's far more important.
That. And that goes out to the whole team as well, because we all work, Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. And good luck with the show. Good luck with the show.
I'm not going to rely on luck. It's going to have to be effort. But I need effort, or accountability.
You work hard.
I want to say thank you, James, because it's people like you that have turned my life around, you know, being a voice for people that are lost in life, perhaps, and facing an existential crisis. Yeah, keep it up.
Okay, well,
great. You've got a new listener right here.
Fantastic, thank you.
Fantastic, that's brilliant. Yeah. Well, this podcast was recorded at the Parade Shopping Centre, you know, Max.
What a place!
Yeah, it is fantastic. Everything's changing. Every week there is something new to look at the Parade. Whether you want to bring your kids during half terms in a few weeks, if you want to bring the kids to Splat and Splodge, Splat and Splodge is there, so you can. Are you saying you've used Splat and Splodge?
My daughter's been there; she loves it. Yes.
So can paint
There's so many cool places.
Yeah,
there is.
There's now Madame Lama's Flowers. So if you like your flowers,
I love the name.
she's awesome as well. And then there's the Riverview Cafe, which has got one of the most amazing views for an outside seating area. You're not going to get a view like that anywhere else in Shrewsbury. So come to the Parade, take a listen. Yeah. Take a listen to what I'm saying.
Take a look. Be here.
That will not get edited out. I'm just come to the Parade, take a look.
There is genuinely some very unique shops I don't think you'll find anywhere in Shropshire. It's beautiful.
It's fantastic. And make sure you check out our website. We've got a website, haven't we?
Hey!
Yeah, it's our website. That was a good slack, wasn't it? That's good for the listeners. Our website is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. It's a fantastic, beautiful looking website where you can get all of our audio. It's if you don't want to listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, or wherever you can get your podcasts from. That's lovingly made by our friends at Web Orchard, who are working hard as we speak to make me a website for You Suck. We work well with those guys.
I love the name.
That's cool.
If you need a website, go to them because they're brilliant at what they do. Thank you very much again for joining us. And thank you, Max.
Thank you for having me. It was great to meet you, James.
Yeah, fantastic. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.